Have you ever stopped to think that maybe your body is giving you clues, subtle signals about your future, especially, as you get into those years after 70? What if you could actually learn to read those signals, get a clearer picture, not just of, well, how long you might live, but how well?
It's definitely more than just guesswork. What we're really discussing here are patterns, scientifically observed patterns, actually. Researchers, doctors, they've seen these subtle cues in people who live really long, healthy, active lives. So our goal in this deep dive is to explore these 7 signs, unpack what they really mean for your health down the road. Because recognizing them, well, it can give you real insight into where you stand now, and maybe more importantly, show you areas where you can actually make a difference.
Okay, let's get into it. The first sign, it's maybe a bit surprising. Your walking speed. It sounds simple, I know, but study after study shows that how quickly and steadily you walk, it's a really powerful predictor of longevity. Sometimes even more so than, say, your genes or what you eat. So keeping up a good, brisk, confident pace in your 70s and beyond seems strongly linked to living longer and more independently.
Right. And the key is why it's such a strong indicator. It's not just about your legs, you see. Think of it like a birdo, like a barometer for your whole system's health. A steady, brisk walk implicitly tests your heart and lungs, your muscle strength, your neurological coordination, kind of all at once. Imagine 2 people, Joe and Frank, both 75. Joe, he walks confidently, steady pace, easily crosses the street. His movements look fluid. Frank, though, he's slowed down, maybe shuffles a bit, needs to pause sometimes. Now, Joe's pace suggests his body systems are working well together. Frank's slower speed, that could be a sign of underlying things. Muscle weakness, maybe poor circulation, even very early neurological changes. Your legs really are your foundation. And when that weakens, well, your overall resilience often does too.
But the good news here, and this is important, is that walking speed isn't set in stone. You can absolutely influence it. So if you have noticed you're slowing down, don't just brush it off as, oh, I'm just getting older. Maybe start with taking more walks. You could add light ankle weights or do some simple leg strengthening exercises. How fast you move through life, it seems, really can tell you quite a lot about how long you'll keep moving easily. Okay, so from how we move our whole body, let's look at something maybe smaller, but just as revealing, your grip strength. We're talking about, opening jars, carrying bags, even the firmness of your handshake. Research keeps pointing to this as a really clear sign of overall vitality, especially as we get older.
Exactly. And if you think bigger picture, a strong grip isn't just about hand muscles. It often acts as a proxy, a stand-in for your overall muscle mass and strength throughout your body, which is so crucial as we age because it helps fight off things like sarcopenia. That's the medical term for age-related muscle loss. So conversely, a weakening grip can be an early warning. It might signal this muscle loss is starting, increasing frailty, maybe even risk of other health issues. Let's take Robert, 78, firm handshake. Opens those stubborn jars, no problem. Carries his groceries fine. Compare him to Walter, also 78. He struggles with bottle caps now, avoids heavy bags. He might just shrug and say, well, I'm aging. But what Walter might not realize is that weakening grip could reflect a more systemic muscle loss. That makes him more prone to falls, to injuries, and potentially, it could impact his longevity. Your hands, in a way, they reflect your body's overall strength foundation.
And again, the really powerful part is, like walking speed, you can work on this. Grip strength can genuinely be improved. Simple things, done consistently. Squeezing a tennis ball while watching TV, using those little hand grippers, even just consciously carrying slightly heavier bags sometimes. It's quite a direct way to check in on your physical resilience, isn't it? All right, next up is something many of us don't think much about until we lose it. Balance. Specifically, the ability to stand on one leg, say for about 10 seconds. It's being seen more and more as a really strong predictor of how long you'll live well and independently. It's easy to think a little wobble is just, part of aging, but you're saying it's potentially more significant than that?
Oh, absolutely. And it begs the question, why is balance so important? Well, people who struggle with it are, frankly, much more likely to fall. And falls can lead to serious injuries, things that really impact quality of life, and sometimes even shorten it. Plus, there's a link emerging between poor balance and cognitive decline. On the other hand, those who keep good balance well into their 70s and beyond, they generally live longer, healthier lives. Picture Carol and Nancy, both early 70s. Carol does yoga, stays active. She can lift one foot, hold it 10 seconds, no problem. Stable. Nancy tries, but she tips almost immediately, needs to grab onto something. Now, Nancy's wobble isn't just an inconvenience. It's a potential warning sign. It could mean her muscle strength, her nervous system's processing, maybe even brain function related to coordination might be declining. Good balance is actually quite complex. It involves your inner ear, your eyes, your muscles, your nerve, all working together. When that coordination starts to fray, it's worth paying attention.
That's actually really encouraging to hear you can improve it. I have to admit, when I first read about the balance test, I tried it myself. And, well, let's just say it was a bit of an eye opener. It really does make you aware. So, for you listening, maybe try it. Stand on one foot for just a few seconds each day. Or try walking heel to toe across the room. Even something like Tai Chi is great for balance. It's a simple check you can do right now, and if it's tricky, it's an area you can start working on today. Okay, let's shift from physical actions to something that happens when we're still needly. Sleep, your sleep patterns. They offer surprisingly deep insights into longevity. We often just think of sleep as rest, right? But so much more is happening. It's crucial repair time for the body.
It really is. Sleep's role is incredibly multifaceted. It's when your body repairs tissues at a cellular level, it recalibrates hormones, it strengthens the immune system, and critically, it clears out toxins from the brain. There's this amazing process called the glymphatic system, kind of like the brain's waste disposal. It works much harder during deep sleep, clearing out proteins like amyloid beta that are linked to cognitive decline. So studies consistently find that getting consistent, good quality sleep after 70 is linked to longer, healthier lives. Poor sleep, or fragmented sleep on the other hand, significantly raises the risk for things like memory problems, heart disease, even a weaker immune response. Think of Henry, mid-70s. Regular bedtime, gets about 7 hours, wakes up feeling refreshed. Then there's Bill, same age. Restless nights, tossing and turning, wakes up a lot. Bill's chronic poor sleep shows up as brain fog during the day, fatigue, maybe even changes in his blood pressure. And often poor sleep isn't just bad luck. It can be linked to stress, diet, maybe not enough physical activity, or sometimes an underlying issue like sleep apnea.
So, knowing all that, really prioritizing your sleep quality becomes a vital health strategy. And simple changes can make a big difference. Things like less screen time right before bed, sticking to a regular sleep schedule, getting some natural sunlight in the morning, avoiding heavy meals late at night. Good sleep isn't a luxury, it seems. It's absolutely fundamental for keeping your body and mind working optimally, especially later in life. Our fifth sign gets into something quite personal, your appetite and your eating habits, particularly after 70. This might be another surprising one, but what you eat and how you eat can be a really strong indicator of longevity. It ties directly into your overall strength and resilience.
Absolutely. A healthy, consistent appetite combined with a diet that's well-balanced and rich in nutrients. That's what keeps your body strong, your immune system fighting fit, and your energy levels up. But on the other side, a sudden drop in appetite or a shift towards, less healthy eating habits, that could be a major red flag. It might signal underlying health problems and can even speed up the aging process. Let's picture Margaret, 74. She really enjoys her food, eats lots of different whole foods. Her weight is stable. She feels energetic. Contrast that with Susan, also 74. She finds she's just not that hungry anymore, often skips meals, maybe relies more on processed stuff, and she's lost some weight without trying. Susan's dwindling appetite, that's a serious warning sign. It could mean her body isn't absorbing nutrients properly. That can lead straight to weakness, frailty, a higher risk of falls, illness. And it's worth noting, sometimes a decreased appetite can be linked to digestive issues, subtle hormonal shifts, or even very early signs of cognitive changes.
Wow, that really drives home how important good nutrition is throughout life. So the message is clear. Really focus on those whole nutrient-dense foods. Stay hydrated. That's always key. And crucially, don't just ignore it if your appetite keeps shrinking over time. Your body's trying to tell you something important. Okay, let's shift focus now to something more internal, but just as powerful, how you handle stress. Your ability to manage life's pressures seems to have a profound impact on longevity. Chronic stress, it just has such wide-ranging negative effects on almost every system in the body. It's often this kind of unseen factor working away in the background, isn't it?
It really is. Chronic unmanaged stress isn't just about feeling bad emotionally. It actively weakens your immune system. It significantly increases your risk of heart disease. It can actually accelerate aging right down to the cellular level. People who learn effective ways to cope with stress, they tend to stay healthier, more active, and mentally sharper for longer. Think about John, 76. Life throws challenges at him, but he tends to approach them calmly. Maybe he practices deep breathing, stays socially connected, doesn't endlessly dwell on things. And compared to Richard, also 76, he holds on to stress, worries a lot, feels overwhelmed easily, maybe gets stuck in negative thinking loops. Richard's constant state of stress, it wears down his body's defenses, can raise blood pressure, mess with sleep, drain energy. And here's a crucial point. Long-term stress fuels systemic inflammation. And inflammation is linked to almost every major age-related disease you can think of, from Alzheimer's to heart conditions, even some cancers.
So, learning to manage stress effectively isn't just about feeling better day to day, though that's great too. It's a genuine long term investment in your physical health. Simple practices like mindfulness, regular exercise, deep breathing techniques, even just making time for laughter, they can really add quality years. It makes you reflect, doesn't it? When challenges come up, do you tend to adapt and move on, or do you find yourself holding on to worry, letting stress take the reins? Okay, our seventh and final sign. This one is often cited as one of the clearest indicators of longevity after 70, and it highlights a really profound contrast: the power of your social connections. We're talking about the difference between having strong, meaningful relationships and the really damaging effects of loneliness. Sometimes, though, it feels hard to tell. Is it just about having people around, or does the quality of those connections matter more?
That's a great point. And yes, the research strongly suggests quality trumps mere quantity. People who have strong, supportive social ties, maybe close friends, an engaged family, involvement in community groups, they consistently live longer, healthier, and frankly, happier lives. Conversely, chronic loneliness isn't just feeling sad, it's a serious health risk. It's been clearly linked to higher rates of heart disease, clinical depression, faster cognitive decline, even dying earlier. Let's imagine Eleanor, 78. She has an active social life, maybe a book club, sees her family regularly, feels genuinely connected, laughs often. Now consider Barbara, also 78. She spends most days alone. Maybe she's lost touch with old friends, doesn't reach out much to family. She feels isolated, and you might see a decline in her mood and maybe even her physical health. Human connection, it's more than just nice to have. You could almost call it a biological need. Our brains are wired for it. Positive social interactions actually help regulate stress hormones. They boost chemicals linked to well-being, and they keep our minds active and engaged.
So, this implies that making even small, intentional efforts to connect can make a real difference. It could be just picking up the phone to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in ages, or joining a club or group based on an interest you have, or simply making a point to have more meaningful conversations with the people already in your life. The relationships you nurture now, they don't just bring happiness in the moment. They're a profound investment in staying healthier and living longer. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the big takeaway is pretty clear. Your future health, your longevity, it isn't predetermined. It's not set in stone. These 7 signs we've talked about: walking speed, grip strength, balance, sleep, eating habits, stress management, social ties, they are all areas where you can take action. You can make improvements.
Exactly. And the ultimate aim here isn't just about tacking on more years. It's about enhancing the quality of those years, living better, not just longer. The choices you consciously make today may be prompted by thinking about these 7 signs. They can have a really powerful compounding effect on your future well-being, making those later years richer, healthier, more engaged.
It really brings it home. At the end of the day, longevity isn't just a number. It's about the vibrancy, the quality of life you experience in the years you have. So maybe the question to leave you with is, which of these 7 signs will you focus on improving first?